BTS Arirang album review. Let's talk about it. How y'all doing? Welcome to Let's Talk About It, Music Reviews Season 12. How y'all doing? Welcome to the show. We got the final, finally the final BTS review of the fucking week. Thank God. Now, starting last year in 2025, when I knew BTS was going to be dropping in 2026 in spring, the build up to that, I was like, all right, this is going to be a good time. And then I go into the album and I have an absolute horrific time. I mean, guys, I'm going to be honest with you. My head fucking hurts. I'm dying inside. I've had to listen to BTS all fucking week and torture myself listening to such a shitty ass album. And, it's crazy to me that I get comments that say that, I need to be more respectful for my opinions, or, I just don't get the album. The album hasn't wrapped around my fucking head. Guys, I've been covering BTS for 5 fucking years, Like, I've listened to good albums from them. I remember when BTS first came out, and they were dropping music, and they were actually popping. It was a crazy time, And I remember that time, BTS had that dark, gritty, fire-ass sound. And I remember giving 8 out of 10s, almost 9 out of 10s, doing like 14-plus minute reviews on their songs because they had so many switch-ups. There were so many good moments. And then as the years progress, as the group gets bigger, the music gets fucking worse. And it was the same thing with Blackpink. It's funny, I got a comment on that recently about comparing a recent Blackpink song. It just makes no fucking sense to me that people don't think I, understand what I'm fucking talking about. When I've been listening to this shit, I've been listening to this genre for over 5 years at this point. Come on. But anyways, before we even get into this album review, I do want to go over my little, criteria, how we do things around here. I'm going to go over 3 overall points of how I feel about the album, and then we're going to go in and we're going to review every single track off the album. I will rate it 1 out of 5, and then I'll give you my overall thoughts and my final album score at the very end. Let's just dive into this album. I've been holding back a lot of my thoughts about it, so let's just fucking do it. Starting off with the production of this album. Man, I don't know how in 2026, out of all of the K-pop groups that I've listened to, that I've reviewed on this show, that BTS would drop some of the most bland production I've ever heard in my fucking life. I mean, I've heard trap beats from Lil Baby, from Polo G in 2026, that's got more character, that's got a better sound to it, and it's actually done right, than 2026 BTS. And that's kind of crazy to me. For a group that had such high quality standards, and how I see a high quality standard music video, but the song that I'm listening to sounds like I'm hearing some motherfucker like pirated some like production software and made this beat in like 24 hours. It doesn't sound like the group that's been gone forever to come back and drop music that sounds like this. The production is bland. The production is boring. There's moments where I'm rolling my fucking eyes because of how boring the 808s are, how boring the trap beats are. Even the switch-ups, even the little mini switch-ups, there's very far in between, but there is moments where the beats will kind of calm down and there'll be this like more kind of pop and R&B moment. And even those moments, the production is still very bland, or they just turn off the beat and call it a fucking day. One of the big points that I got a comment from, they were saying, every K-pop song is repetitive. The production's repetitive. The flows are repetitive. The vocals are repetitive. The lyrics are repetitive. Repetitive actions and music can sound good if you do it right. If you make it sound addicting, if you actually, make it sound good, maybe you'll have a good time with it. But when the production doesn't switch up, and it stays the same throughout the whole entire song. That's really boring to me. When we are just doing the bare minimum on the hook, we're doing the bare minimum on the verses, and we're just repeating words and calling it a fucking day, that shows me how lazy the song is. That shows me how lazy the production is, and that shows me how lazy the group is fucking taking this shit. I mean, come on. Feels like I'm wasting my time listening to this fucking song and to this whole entire album when it's all just like this. Now, my second point about this album, we need to talk about the vocals. I don't know how. I really don't understand. You know, there's AI now. There is AI on Autotune now. Playboy Carti can sound way better than what I'm fucking hearing from BTS. And these are the guys that are supposedly can sing, supposedly can rap. So why are we drowning their voices in some fucking shitty ass alien Autotune? You can't tell me the most successful K-pop group, the most popular K-pop group, is using some of the worst Autotune I've heard in my fucking life? How is that even possible? How do you have all of these producers and you still have shitty ass vocals? That makes no sense to me. It makes me fucking, blows my fucking mind. Makes me go, what the fuck are we doing? What did we do when we came back from the military? Did we just give up? What the fuck is happening? And the worst part about, you know, having shitty autotune, having shitty vocals, is if you can't even stay on beat. If you can't even flow right on the beats that you've picked out. You know, it just blows my mind how I'm seeing these members when they try to rap on these beats, they sound offbeat. Their vocals sound like they're driving through a fucking tunnel. And I know we love EQ and we love all these effects, but if you're using these effects in a shitty way, it just sounds bad. It sounds fucking terrible. It sounds like a bad fucking time. My third point, and this is going to be my final point, why are we focusing on just the rapping? You know, K-pop rapping is so terrible. It makes me roll my fucking eyes when I listen to K-pop rapping. And that's why most of these K-pop groups don't really spend a lot of time on it. There's a reason why most of the time we're doing, you know, pop music. We're doing like R&B inspired music because look, the rapping is so shitty that it blows my mind. People eat this shit up. You see BTS fans eat this shitty ass rapping up. This is like if I drove into McDonald's and I ordered a fucking quarter pounder. You know, that's what I'm getting from this rapping. It's fast food rapping. And it's so bad. It's so repetitive. It's so terrible to listen to. It blows my mind that from track 1 to 14, it's the same fucking rap verses. You know, 2025, when Doja Cat dropped her 80s inspired album and she kept doing the same fucking boring ass rap verses for the whole entire album, that's a problem in my opinion. And that's the same thing with this new album from BTS. Shitty ass rapping. Why are we focusing on it? It sucks ass. Do what you know, go back to what you know, and go fucking sing. Because at least the singing sounds fucking good. Where's more of that? Why am I hearing shitty ass rapping for over an hour? Makes no sense to me. You know, I thought I was just going to go over every single track off the album and, you know, rate it 1 out of 5. But I'm going to be honest with you. From track 1 to 14, all of these tracks are like 2 out of 5s. And that is no joke. It's that shitty, it's that bad that I don't even want to waste my time explaining every single track why it's terrible. Every single track sounds the same. It's just like, how? You know, it feels like I'm listening to a joke. You know, sometimes, guys, when I do this show and I try my best to give music a fair shake, you know, when I'm listening to anything, You know, when I'm listening to a rap album, or I'm listening to an R&B album or a pop album, or like this when I choose a K-pop album, you know, I try my best to give this shit a fair shake, but it's really hard for me to give something a fair shake when the artists themselves, when the group themselves are not taking the album seriously, when they're not taking the music seriously, when they're not making quality music. It feels like I'm listening to some fucking kid making SoundCloud music, and I just don't even want to listen to it. I feel like I'm wasting my time. And I don't know how the biggest K-pop group in the world can make this low-quality trash fucking music. This shit sounds like I went in an alleyway, got stabbed 5 times, and this is what I came back with, a CD of shitty-ass fucking music. Anyways, I'm glad I'm done talking about BTS. I'm ready to move on. I'm ready to do fucking something else with my goddamn life. I'm just gonna give this album a 2 out of 10. 2 out of 10. What'd y'all think about it? Did you love it? Did you hate it? I don't know. Let me know. If you're on YouTube, Spotify, Pandora, wherever you get your podcast at, make sure you follow, turn on notifications, guys. We're dropping new content every single day. And thank God I'm done. I'll see y'all later. You have a good one.